awesome. Let's go grind a little bit before I go to sleep, but I am pretty fucking exhausted right now. I don't know, or I know why. It's because I just got like no sleep. And I am needing to look at this website. What the fuck is this website? Thank you. There we go. Let's fucking go. Okay, that's all the lectures I'll need. Alright, what am I doing? I want to do 40 minutes of focus, just learning, like just looking up text, and yeah, just looking up, self-learning this. Yeah, just self-learning this. Okay. Oh, today was so bad because of sleep. What did I even do in the morning? A little bit, not even real Turk work. Shit. Just went to shit. Pure shit. Okay. Yeah. This is what sleep does. How much sleep did I get? I need to check this out. Check my phone while I'm at it, actually. Do I need to charge my watch right now? It's like 25%. I think I should, actually. Okay. Yeah, let me go charge my watch too. And my phone. Let's go ahead and do a school focus session. Devices being charged. It's good. Turn the radio on. Na, 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 na.
Why don't you come right out with what you want to say?
fucking sleep. What the hell is this? Weird spacing.
So, we were in the process.
Okay, so good. I will likely go watch those lectures a little later. Not publicly though. Yeah, definitely not publicly. I can just send this. I'll just send these over to my other browser. Why is this theme so dark? There we go. But Lo-Fi Girl is so nice, bro. Holy. I love these steady beats. Well, not this Lo-Fi Girl. Who's this person? Hopkins. Auto-generated by YouTube. Bam. Be right back to eat food and read this a little more, and then head out to Hopkins, I think, because yeah, watching lectures or speeding through the homework, I think that's the easiest way to do it. Zero hopes of being stats today.
就可能可以开始平常走路吧，或者不应该还会。这个，但是还是跑步才能东西。
那其他的也要多休息吗？还是说主要是休息为多，还是要训练为主？
啊，你说中间时候在累的话休息，
就是在家或者是经常就是不上去在家做。
因为我做出来就算休息了，也因为在用很多也好，放点冰在床上，也这样的，现在差不多也可以了，我就慢慢更多。
看着就挺好的。
对，给那个顾已经开始对
OK。你认识在公司吗？
这就是我在
作业。
在学课，你不愿意听说就是 databases。
哦，数据库。
数据库。
data 就是数据。
啊。OK，就是我就今晚上有作业，我这是第一个可能是今晚上有作业，现在先学一点，有时的时候再看，慢慢看看。
我有的时候听那个什么 日本的那个那个电影，就是那个叫你的名字对吧？没看过那个电影吗？
我听说我没看过。
哦，我看你发那个。
哦耶，我就是有一个，我喜欢放歌，我不知道那个音乐，就不会 distract。我放音乐，我就听得懂了，所以我可能或者我有100个中文歌，我也听不懂，也放进去了。我就是工作时候就是使用，然后就是这个。还没，我是有几个，我还没，不是没找到时间看。
我记得那个你的名字，它那个日本James，它那个是一个乐队叫Run Rams，他们那个 band，就他们的歌，以前我也听，我是看那个 anime，那个电影看过是吧？
我还没看，我就肯定会，不知道。
下个时间。
我有时间的时候，我肯定会看一次，因为我喜欢那个歌。我不知道那个是什么东西。
你不知道那个？我看过，听完电影院看，还可以，电影还不错的，挺好的。有时间可以看一下。
我有这个歌，就是我就朋友告诉我，我看了一下就挺好的。
可以的，是的。那个也挺好看的。
Bro, what? My roommate was like, I heard you playing Radwitz. Fucking your name. Yeah, that's insane. Bro, this song called Chill fucking slaps. Shit ain't chill though. These are the exact same slides? Question mark? What the fuck? Bro, am I dumb or am I dumb, bro? Slide 7, 8, 9 are just the same? Question mark? Is this cosplay? What is this? Yes. That was free, Lamau. shot we need.
Employee, spouse. Okay. Okay, so these are just like balance. Don't need to care about that.
Okay, take a look at that later. What is weak? I don't think he has a weak entity type.
Almost about to leave and work somewhere else. Not shabby though.
Good. I will peace now. What's my watch charge rate at? 80%? Okay, maybe I'll go watch one lecture at 1.5x speed.
So welcome. So today we'll be continuing on our discussion of additional data models. In particular, we'll be looking at the...
oh wait, this guy literally hides his face. Okay, this is fine. Those are slides. Let's go to lecture. One and a half.
So welcome. So today we'll be continuing on our discussion of additional data models. In particular, we'll be looking at the entity relationship model. This is a generic framework for dealing with database structures and representations that are independent of a particular formal data model, like the ER model, relational model, object-oriented model, network model, and so forth. So I find it useful as a way of visualizing and analyzing and sketching out different design principles, and this is one way to explore that. So as would be implied from the title entity relationship model, the model is composed of both entities and relationships. An entity is a thing of interest in the real world. This can be a thing like an employee or a product or a department or something that has a tangible nature to it or a concrete nature to it. Entities have attributes. These are properties of entities. These could be, for example, for a person, it could be their salary, their gender, their birth date, and so forth. It could be an atomic attribute, or it could be a composite attribute. So a composite attribute would be, for example, a name could have subcomponents such as first name, middle initial, last name, and suffix, and a birthday could have a month, day, and year. And the major advantage of these composite attributes is that they allow us to group together attributes that are really part of the same thing, as opposed to have them as sort of standalone, unconnected properties of a relation. So in the relational models, we'll see first name, middle initial, last name are representable, but they are as connected to each other as they are to birth date or salary. They don't have any inherent status of being parts of the same hierarchical structure, namely. So one of the nice things about the ER model is it allows us to treat related attributes like first name, last name, etc., as part of a structured composite attribute. And you can refer to the name dot first name or name dot mi so that you know these are pieces of the same related set of structures. It allows us to search, for example, for everyone born in 1993 and everyone born in the month of March as distinct from doing substring searches, because the day, month, year, and so forth are pieces of a structured attribute birth date, as opposed to a date representation as a monolithic thing. Okay, so I do apologize. For various reasons, I cannot see the chat right now. If someone would be so kind as to either read out the chat if you see a question coming in, and or speak the question themselves. So a private chat today only won't reach me, but if you want to just shout it out, I don't believe any of your pictures are being recorded, and it won't say who's speaking, so it will just show the screen. Getting back to attributes. So a value of an attribute is an instance of an attribute for a particular entity. So for example, SSN is a formal attribute of the employee relation entity, I should say, in this case. And it has an instantiation, namely 481331766. And a beat date is 21766, again, an instantiation for that particular person. Different employees will likely, almost certainly have different instantiations. In particular, if we require that SSN is a key and has a unique value that's identifying for that individual or that entity. So these attribute values could be single valued, i.e. We have an exclusive single birth date, a single SSN, etc., that corresponds to the individual. It can also be multi-valued, and these are sets of values. These would be like a set of phone numbers. And obviously you could have three different attributes corresponding to, like, your business phone, your home phone, your mobile phone, and those would be distinct fields, perhaps even composite fields, like we saw here, where you'd have phones and you'd have business, personal, mobile. And those might be three separate values. That is unfortunately not viable if you have a unlimited set of numbers. Maybe you have 5 numbers, depending upon whether you have multiple offices and multiple homes and multiple mobiles and some for different purposes. If the set has not a fixed number of possible values, but a set of values where you can have multiple members of such set, that would be an indication of multi-value attributes. So if you can have just 3 unordered lists of phone numbers, that would be an unstructured multi-valued attribute, as opposed to a composite attribute is a structured attribute that has specific fields, specific roles. So think of it as sort of unordered sets with unbounded membership versus structured values with a fixed number of fields with fixed semantics. Attributes can have domains. These are sets of values that may be assigned to the attribute. So historically, sex would have 2 values in the domain, either F and M or female, male, etc. Femme, masc, whatever the values are for that. And obviously, we now support in most databases a larger set of sex and gender identities, including not attributes. So the range of the possible values that apply are the domains of a given attribute that we can call upon, possible values that would be instantiated for that attribute. We can visualize these attributes and entities graphically. So the example I gave before, we traditionally use a rectangle to represent our entities themselves. So employee is an entity, and we use ovals to represent attributes. So birth date over here is an attribute, SSN is an attribute, sex, salary, address, etc. Other attributes. Phones is a multi-valued attribute. We use this double circle, and that corresponds to a unordered, unbounded set of possible values without any structure. If there's a question, please do shout out. In fact, just for my own sanity, could someone shout out whether or not you heard what I just said? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Perfect, thank you. Now, as I noted, if you have a structured composite attribute with subfields, you would also render that as a double circle or double oval, but nesting, as opposed to where the individual fields are named subcomponents. So first name, middle initial, last name, suffix are all subfields of name. And you can think of them in documentation as name.mi. So mi by itself is not terribly useful, but if you have the name.mi, it's clear this is a subfield of the name, and likewise name.suffix. You can have suffixes on many things, presumably, but the name.suffix tells you this is a person's nominal suffix, like junior, senior, third, and so forth. And the graphical representation is actually helpful because it allows us to quickly look at a design for entities and relationships and attributes and understand what is happening. And more importantly, as we'll see, we can have interconnections among these that are easily represented and visualized. So ER model, entity relationship. The second sort of first-class citizen here is the relationship. And these are associations among entities. These correspond to entity 1 through entity n that participate in that relationship. Typically, there are 2, but you can have more than 2, and in a few specialized cases, you can have just 1, although that should be in quotes for various reasons. And this can be represented graphically by a diamond. So a relationship would be named in the diamond, and the entities they participate in would be rectangles that are connected to that entity. It also could be represented by an n tuple. So rel would be the name of the relationship and has entity 1 through entity n as participating arguments. So a good example of this would be, for example, employee works for a department. That's a relationship that connects employees to departments. And you're not limited to one relationship that connects employees to departments or entities with each other. You can have multiple linking relationships. So just like an employee could work for a department could be chaired by an employee. And these, of course, are not symmetric. Not everyone who works for a department is a chair. And potentially, it's not a requirement that chairing a department requires you to work for that department, although that would be a reasonable semantics. And so we have multiple rectangular entities here, employee and department, and we can link them up through any number of relationships. And of course, there's no requirement that any 2 entities have a relationship between them, but we can have 1, 0, or many more than 1 in some cases. Now, we can talk about the degree of a relationship. These are the number of participating entity sets, or entities. I'll get to the term entity set in a second. And in this case, this is a ternary relationship that is not just a joint venture between a majority parent and a minority parent who are getting together to form a company as a joint venture, but the company itself is a joint venture